Peace, peace. I feel great right now. This is the 7th episode of Higher Self Podcast. So what I want you to do is subscribe to my YouTube on Higher Self Network and follow me on Instagram at King Jake Mitch. My name is Jaytaun. I go by Jake. Jake stands for Jaytaun's a King every day, and before we get started with our episode, I just wanted to shout out, this is the 7th episode of Higher Self Podcast. 7 is a powerful number. 7 is a divine number, 7 is a representation of God, especially in the 5 percenters, so peace to the God. 7 is also a representation of the 7 chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown chakra, and if you know and you're aware of the chakra systems, these are energy points in our body, and when we bring awareness to these points in our body, some amazing things can happen, 7 is also a representation of the 7 Elohims, which I don't know off the top of the dome, but it came across me in my studies and my practice, So I just wanted to shout out the number 7. I just wanted to shed light on the 7. This is the 7th episode. 7 is a powerful number. 7 is an amazing number, and I just wanted to bring some light to that. What was on my mind today was peace and pain, What is peace? Peace is many things for many people, but just from my mindset, peace provides me with clarity, Naturally, the mind wants to be calm, The opposite of peace, I would consider it to be chaos, just from perspective, But naturally, our minds want to be calm, and I think when our minds are calm, when we kind of are not in a chaotic thinking pattern, when our breath is calm, when we're slowing the breath down, when we're regulating our nervous systems, when we get to this state of a peaceful state, I think we can create better, we can produce better, we can connect better, but pain is also necessary, because we go through pain, we go through traumatic physical pain, if something happened to us physically. If something happened to us physically, maybe we fell off a pedal bike or something, or maybe we get hit by a car, something that impacts our physical, and also we also experience internal pain, sometimes the loss of a loved one is a pain that we can't bear, or it becomes hard to carry, or the pain, the pain that we experience during a breakup, that pain is kind of hard to carry as well, So understanding peace and understanding pain, I think we can produce a better reality for ourselves. Ultimately, I think it's important that we operate from a peaceful state, but be aware of our pain, because we can convert our pain into peace. I don't think it's wise to convert our peace into pain, So if we look at the example of a sailor, or somebody that's cruising a ship on the waters, when the water is kind of peaceful, it's easy to sail, it's more clarity, it's a better vision, compared to when the water is chaotic, when there's much waves, it's harder to steer the boat, it's harder to sail, it's harder to see your destination or to see the vision, So just really being aware, becoming aware of your pain, becoming aware of your pain is also important, because if we don't become aware of what's hurting us, then we usually hurt other people, we usually project this pain, we usually create a reality of a pain, because we are experiencing so much hurt that's unconsciously we want other people to hurt, So that's why it's important to convert our pain into peace, because when we get this level of peace for ourselves, and we get this clarity for ourselves, then we want that for others, we want to project that on others, So converting all your pain into peace, and it's really not about fixing everything that hurts you, but it's really identifying what is causing you pain right now in this moment, and try to convert that to peace the best way you can, or what is peaceful right now in this moment, and operate in that state, So ultimately, some pain is buried deeper than others, Some things that may be causing us pain we might not be aware of until somebody says something, and that pain shows its face, or that pain comes up to the surface, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that this was hurting me, And then when you become aware of that, make sure that you convert that into peace right away, however you convert it into peace, But ultimately, operating from this peaceful state allows us to produce better, allows us to be more creative. It allows us to really live in alignment with who we are, because naturally our minds and our bodies and our higher self don't want to accumulate all of these things that we accumulate. This is us holding on to these thoughts. This is us holding on to this hurt. This is us not forgiving. This is us not allowing ourselves to be expressive, So a lot of times we are the blockers of our own blessings, But when we become aware of this, then we can convert that pain, all that hurt, we can convert all that trauma, and we can utilize this as peace, That way we don't have to hurt other people. That way we don't have to blame other people. That way we don't have to, operate with this resentment or this hatred or this envy or this jealousy, because we're aware of our pain, And when we become aware of our pain, and sometimes our pain cuts so deep, we shouldn't want other people to experience that, So convert that pain into peace. Think about how it feels to operate from a painful state, Think about how it feels to be on high alert because people are hurt around you, Think about the freedom of when you're at peace, Think about the love, the joy when your mind is at ease, when your mind is calm. Think about the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that arise from a peaceful state versus a painful state. This strategy that I came up with, this is a great strategy that you can apply to your daily life. First, before we get into the strategy, or before you do the strategy, just take 5 deep breaths. The breath is one of the greatest tools that we have. Some of us are not familiar with meditation. Some of us is not familiar with yoga or many practices that allows us to convert our pain into peace, or that allows us to experience this higher self. But we're all familiar with the breath, So if you take 5 deep breaths, 5 long breaths, this can allow you to regulate your nervous system automatically. This could allow you to calm that mind automatically, just clear those thoughts just by using the breath. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. And just like that, the power of the breath, the breath is so powerful because it automatically starts to regulate this nervous system. It automatically starts to calm and settle and bring clarity to the mind, and we all use the breath daily, because without it, then, because without it, none of us will be here, so always utilize the breath, and the 5P strategy is peace, perception, production, projection, and process. When we become aware of our peace, we perceive our peace internally and externally a certain way, through our perception. And then we produce our peace, how we talk to ourselves, is it peaceful? How we feed ourselves, is that peaceful? the environments we spend the most time in are those peaceful environments. The things we put in our mind is those peaceful, you know, and then ultimately through our production, you know, we project, you know, so how we speak to others. Do we speak to others in a peaceful manner? You know, do we project peaceful things into this reality? You know, do we project peaceful things into our relationships, into our children? You know, and after that, we create a process, you know, our life process. You know, we live our life based upon our perceptions, our productions, and our projections, you know. So when we become aware of our peace, then we can alter everything else after that, you know. We can also have a 5P that starts with our pain, you know. So we experience our pain, you know, then we perceive our pain a certain way, you know, internally and externally. However we see our pain as based upon our perception, our perception, you know, so the way we perceive our pain. And then our production of pain, you know, how do we talk to ourselves, you know, is it painful? You know, how do we feed ourselves? Do we feed ourselves painful foods? You know, do we spend most of our time in painful environments, things that are nurturing our pain? And then ultimately, you know, we project this pain, you know. How are we speaking to our children, you know? Are we putting pain into them? You know, how are we projecting pain? You know, are we projecting hurt? Are we projecting fear? Or because this exists within us, you know? And then we create this process of pain, you know. So it's really important that we identify with our 5Ps daily, you know, not to try to change today or to try to change the week or to try to change the month, you know, but to really change this moment that you're in right now, you know, because a lot of times we focus so much on time and we get caught up in this illusion of time, you know. We really have this now moment, you know. So if we apply the 5P plan, the 5P strategy to this now moment, you know, it's really like, how can I identify with my peace? How can I experience my peace now? How could I perceive or my perception of my peace now? You know, how could I produce peace right now? You know, how could I project peace right now in this process right now? And when we start taking control of this daily on the now basis, then ultimately the reality of our lives change, you know. So really just checking in with yourself daily, you know, through the 5P strategy. And we close out the episode with gifts. You know, this gift I got today is from Stedman Graham. You know, I got this signed book from him personally, so I appreciate that. Shout out to Stedman Graham. And this is the Identity Passport to Freedom, a 9-step success process. As you can see, it's a really easy read, but it's one of those reads where it's so easy, but it's powerful. Every time I read it, you know, I learn something new and I get something new, you know. So I read this about 50 times, so I recommend that y'all get these. Thank you.